La seguridad es lo más importante en el sitio de trabajo. Un sitio de trabajo seguro es un sitio de trabajo productivo. Hay que tener en cuenta que la seguridad es vital en esta industria. Tenemos que saber cómo utilizar las herramientas adecuadamente, ya sea herramientas neumáticas o herramientas eléctricas. Además recuerda siempre usar tu casco, tus lentes de seguridad y también es importante que tomes en serio tu trabajo. No estés jugando en los sitios de área de trabajo, estés concentrado en lo que estás haciendo.
When it's time to prep your work site, there's a right and a wrong way to do it. This is the wrong way, with clutter and no work paths, which is a safety concern. When your materials aren't organized and laid out properly, this will cost you twice as much time, efficiency, and productivity. When you work in summer heat, it's doubly important to stack them the right way. Lumber will mold itself the way it's laying, and you might have crowning or warping, which will cost money. This is the right way to set up your job site. You should stage your material in one section of the workspace so you have room to build your walls. And there's a correct way to stack your lumber. Lumber companies typically deliver a framing package. The long studs are actually on the bottom, and the top plates or bottom plates are on top. This is done to give you access to the products you will use in the order you'll be using them. When you're laying out the walls, you'll need bottom plates first, top plates next, and then the studs. It's also a good time to maintain your tools so you get the best performance from them all day on the job. Nailers require a couple of drops of oil in the air fitting of the tool first thing in the morning to keep them running smoothly. Oiling the tool regularly is the best line of defense for preserving O-ring life and the life of the tool. Take time to check the oil in the air compressor tank by looking at the gauge. Change it as needed to get the top performance from the compressor. And at the end of the day, make sure you drain the air compressor tank. The process of compressing air generates condensation in the tank, and the water needs to be drained regularly for safety and long life operation. It's always a good idea to check your owner's manual for any information, especially when you're troubleshooting. You also need to set up your compressor hose layout correctly. This is not the way to do it. Multiple users will draw air from a splitter, or 4 users drawing air from one small hose. You need sufficient air to drive nails. Here's the best way to set up the system. It looks like this: 2 larger hoses that split into smaller hoses, each leading to a single tool. Before you start work, you'll need to get your hand tools ready to save yourself time later in the job. Load the blade into your utility knife and have spares. Before you begin layout, you'll load your chalk reel. This Fat Max chalk reel has a slide window to let you see how much chalk is in it. It's easy to fill. Put in the chalk, fill the reel, close it, and you can see how much chalk you've got. Last but not least, start the day by taking advantage of an organized tool belt to keep everything handy and keep you working efficiently. Now we have some tips and techniques for you that will have you framing correctly and efficiently, plus we'll show you some tool features and benefits to make your job even easier. With framing, measuring the wall layout on the floor deck or foundation comes first, and those are crucial measurements. You'll need a tape measure and a chalk reel, and here are tips for the layout. Use red chalk to indicate exactly where your plates and where walls will come up. If you happen to make a mistake, we suggest you switch to blue chalk to show a different variation from the red color. Other chalk colors are available. We recommend brown for instant concrete cuts or orange for concrete that might be susceptible to staining. Black chalk is for permanent marks where you need extreme permanence. The basic technique is to measure, mark, and snap. This chalk reel also has a biting hook that will grip the wood and a locking feature so it won't move when you're chalking off. When you begin the light frame assembly, you'll probably work from the blueprints for laying out the studs and plates and any window or door openings. You'll move the lumber to the pre-marked floor deck and remember to protect your back by lifting the right way. You'll use a speed square to mark the top plates. Using a stick nailer, you'll nail the top plates under the studs. You can move even more quickly by being able to reload the nailer easily. This one holds 4 sticks so you can keep moving. You may also use a technique called toe nailing, which means you're attaching wood at an angle like this. A feature of this nailer is a tip complete with teeth that will grip lumber for slip-free nailing. A technique you'll need to use is bracing, particularly for long walls. After the wall is lifted, nail a stud to each end as a temporary brace, then you'll nail it to the subfloor. A benefit of this nailer can be used in this application, the depth of drive feature. In this case, we don't want the nail driven flush, so the brace can be removed easily. So the adjustment's made and the nail is driven just above the surface. You'll also use a level to check for plumb and level as your work progresses.